At the time of the George Floyd murder, lawyers and small business were kind of caught off guard, like, well, that's not about me. And all of a sudden they realized it was about them and it was about their workforce. And all of a sudden there was an opportunity where we had clients saying to us, what do? We don't know what to say, how to have this conversation. Flexability started with a brain trust of a couple of individuals who had all worked in a nonprofit that was focused on temporary placement and recruiting for individuals with disabilities, mostly working with state and federal government entities. Our vision was that we wanted to change the world by changing the workplace. When we started the recruiting company, we looked at at that time, very low unemployment rates amongst individuals who weren't disabled, and very high unemployment rates for individuals with disabilities, but a huge talent source of availability for companies. So using that untapped talent source, we could provide companies with better talent, greater talent retention, and also meet our worldwide vision of equity at work. The big picture that we see right now in the workplace was a transition from not only just individuals with disabilities, but into other identities. Because as we were working with individuals with disabilities, they were people of color, they were LGBTQA, they were veterans. So we had this idea that people are more than one identity. And by really recognizing this kaleidoscope of identities in the workplace, not only could we just reach one slice, one silo, but we started to see identity and talent as lived experiences of all of that. What was happening in late 2019 and early 2020 is we were doing our exploration. We were starting to recruit for an equity and inclusion consultant who actually had deeper experience than just disability. And then we had the George Floyd murders, and then we had Black Lives Matter, and then we had COVID. There was this awakening of how important it was to start changing the conversations about the workplace. In my lingo, I styled it as what if, because we have these what if conversations. What if we bent the universe here? What if we just said it's not just about one thing, but it's about all of the lived experiences of an individual? So we hit all of it. At the time of the George Floyd murder, lawyers and small business were kind of caught off guard, like, well, that's not about me. And all of a sudden they realized it was about them and it was about their workforce. And all of a sudden there was an opportunity where we had clients saying to us, what do? We don't know what to say, how to have this conversation. Employers wanted to do the right thing, not because it made good business sense, but because they realized front and center, you could not ignore it, that racism exists today. The biggest threat they had was they had no vocabulary. They had no stories to tell. They viewed diversity as a numbers game and as a siloed piece, seeing individuals just as one thing. And what we wanted to do was help employers and help the workplace, even peers, just learn how to have a conversation. So this ability to have these open, honest conversations, to appear vulnerable, allows everyone to live, to share their lived experiences, so that we can start to open up kind of the hearts and minds to have people really talking about what it's like to be yourself in the workplace and not what you think you're supposed to. When flexibility goes in, we don't talk about helping anybody. We talk about empowering them. We want workplaces, we want individuals, we want coworkers, leaders, managers to learn. We want to go in and teach and coach and mentor. We don't want to be consultants where you just live with us forever. We actually want to teach people so they can teach others. Because what the leadership thinks success looks like and what the company may need could be very different. And it really comes down to two things. And you leave off the D of diversity, It's equity and inclusion. It's mattering and belonging. It's about mattering, knowing that you have value and that somebody cares about you, and that they want you to succeed. They want to include you. They want you to belong to this tribe that is the workplace. And when you have mattering and belonging in the workplace, the impossible is possible.